Welcome to the 2021 Economic and Preparation Channel. I'm your host, Tony. Thank you for joining me on this Sunday edition, September 26, 2021. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button for the latest financial news, and I appreciate your support. Thank you for sticking with me during the brief hiatus I've had during the last 2 weeks. I am back now and ready to provide you with the news. So today we're going to be talking about the hyperinflation, the crisis that continues. We're also going to be touching base on the shortages that could be experiencing as we upcoming fall and winter season here. So I want to touch on that as well, that we could be seeing a lockdown part 2 version. Many of you have been preparing for that, and that's great news. And I just want to make sure that everyone is informed about that. Could be a possibility here as it's spreading westward and as variance increases with this virus. So we have the Costco, Nike, and FedEx warning that there's more inflation set to hit consumers as the holidays approach. And I must say, as you know, the Dow Jones closed up this past weekend on Friday. There was a big rally to make up for the losses earlier in the week, and that was just because of the money pumping and the good news that we received that the unemployment claims are holding steady or decreasing below 300,000 initial jobless claims. And so it's based on that premise. But the major companies on the S&P 500 like Costco, Nike, and FedEx are warning that more inflation is to hit. And inflation has not gone down. I mean, the price of chicken at Costco, the price of fish, turkey, eggs, anything you name it, grocery prices have been increasing, food, utility prices have been increasing, and gas prices are slowly ticking up as we transition into this fall winter season. Shipping bottlenecks have led to rising freight costs, and that is also concern for many people, Americans. There's over 75 ships now off the coast of Long Beach shipping port there in LA waiting to come in with goods and services, but they can't because there's a bottleneck. And there's shortage and supply issues. Costco joined a long list of retailers sounding the alarm about supply chain issues. And this is going to continue through 2022. And 2022 is when I believe the rubber hits the road. We're going to see a slowdown in this economy because we're going to have the passage of the infrastructure bill. That's another $3.5 trillion spent, along with the Federal Reserve pumping more money, $120 billion of bonds that they're buying every month. It's going to be too much. It's going to cause prices to rise dramatically. Inflation is already at 5.2% and growing. By the end of this year, inflation will be at close to 8%. And then next year, we're looking at a 10 to 12% inflationary spike before pressures come down in 2023 when the Federal Reserve Bank maybe have to decide to raise rates, but they may have to do it earlier. Holiday season is going to look very interesting for Thanksgiving and Christmas as we're dealing with a shortage of goods in the holidays. And we're not really sure if things are really going to get better. We know things are going to get worse because FedEx announced that they hike shipping rates by 5.9%. Stamps have gone up this past week too by another 2 cents, the forever stamps. So postage is going up, shipping prices going up, mail prices, everything is going up in that regard. And Chairman Reserve Powell said inflation expectations are still anchored around 2%, but we're not seeing that reflected on Main Street. Real inflation right now is around 7% and growing. Official numbers from him is 5.2%. But we know that you have to almost double that when we're counting the consumer basket of goods that we purchase every day. Consumer just means the sale baskets of goods that we purchase every day. So this article is very interesting in usnews.com. What is the price of Biden's plan? This massive expansion of social programs are bringing in this kind of socialism type of governance. It's going to cost a lot more than $3.5 trillion. They're looking at the Democrats' domestic rebuilding plan here as a person looking at it, the plan, the House and Ways Committee there. Guys, this $3.5 trillion supposedly is going to be spent over a decade. Like I told you, we're going to have the lost decade like Japan that we're entering in from 2021 to 2030, where we have stagflation. We first have hyperinflation, then we have stagflation, and then we go into a massive deflation when all the money's been spent and the prices have to come down after being artificially raised in housing and food, utilities, gas, you name it. So this is going to be interesting because now we have a situation where the Republicans and Democrats are vying for more money that's not there. We've overdrafted our dollar U.S. dollar as the world reserve currency status, we've overextended our credit, even though we can continue to extend the credit and raise the debt ceiling as they've done in the past. And, now there's talk of a government shutdown. Every year they talk about that, doing the debt ceiling around this time, doing the fiscal year ending for the federal government, September 30th and on to next. And they're going to have to they're trying to avert a shutdown, according to Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi. But, the thing is that regardless of the debt ceiling and all that, eventually the chickens come home to roost because we're all interconnected in this globalism economy. And so if America loses the world reserve currency status, which I believe they will in a few years, that is going to have a domino effect on the rest of the world. And most likely our standard of living is going to go down here in the United States, which is, it's nothing that we're not used to. As working class Americans, we're used to making sacrifices. But it's just been a long time since, it's been over, I would say, 60 years, 70 years since America has experienced this type of hardship, since the Great Depression or longer. So taxes will be increasing too. And that's what President Biden has failed to understand, is that taxes are going to be increasing on us, not the rich people making over whatever he said, over $400,000 a year, over $1,000,000 a year. They can live off the interest. But for those of us who can't live off the interest in our bank accounts or whatever we have, that's where the rubber meets the road. And this is where it's going to hurt the economy, because taxes are not going to be enough to increase with jobs that are slowly dwindling away from America and going to developing nations and, of course, the Asia conglomerate. So Costco, another retailer, Sam's, BJ's, Kroger's, you name it, they're limiting supplies on toilet papers and cleaning supplies. Limits on toilet paper and cleaning supplies are back at Costco. So here we go again. These limits are going to extend to other areas, my friends, when we go to stores, not the big box stores, but there will be limits on other items like bottled water, coffee, anything that, tuna, pasta, anything that are high fly off the shelf items, milk. These items are going to be limited, I believe, probably starting in wintertime, and that's going to increase into January, February, March of 2022. So we got to be prepared for that, because this is something that's from NPR.com. So advertisement. Here we go. And so we have to be prepared for that, because we don't want to be facing fighting over toilet paper, water, tuna, ramen noodles, peanut butter, almonds, whatever you get as your survival shelter bunker food that you may need for over the course of the year. And be sure to rotate that, by the way, because stuff does expire over these 2 or 3 years that we've been in this crisis. So be prepared for shortages. And also, if we look at the future market now, the Dow Jones is up, a modest tepid 42 points, looking ahead to Monday. But, it's just so odd that we look at the stats here of the world markets here, and everybody's interconnected. All the markets are doing the same thing. We look at the Treasury notes here, the 10-year Treasury yield at 1.46%. And it should be, if there's hyperinflation, you would think that the Treasury note would be rising along with it, but it is not. So this signals to me that this depression that we're in eventually is going to be hyperinflation, stagflation, and then a massive deflation, just like the depression in 1929 was. But this time we're doing it in reverse order. Okay. And so that's why the 10-year yield has not risen up like they expected. And gold, as you notice, has not risen up that much at all. Only 0.5% here at 1750. It's actually fall below 1800. I know many gold bugs have said that the gold is going to be the way of the future, but I'm not so sure. I think, I'm not a financial advisor or planner here, but I think that the crypto and the digital assets are going to be taking over gold in terms of providing a better return on investment. That's just my opinion. Silver too. Silver might jump up a little bit after next year, but I don't see it providing the return on investment the cryptos and other digital assets have been providing for many people out there. And I don't know how long that's going to last, but it seems the commodities here are not providing a substantial return on investment as much as the cryptos and other markets. And that's what crypto dropping 15% to 20% beginning of earlier, a couple of months ago, that people were talking about. So in any news, in any event, ladies and gentlemen, we have to be prepared in this economy to be self-sustainable, self-sufficient. Continue to buy seeds, heirloom seeds, continue to buy solar generators, because food, water, electricity is going to be your 3 primary concerns heading into these winter months, because we do not know what black swan events are going to happen in this winter months, and we don't know what state the black swan events going to happen in during this fall and winter. But trust me, there will be 1 or 2 events that is going to shake up our nation, not just here, but abroad too. and we have to be prepared because the supplies that we think we're going to need is not going to be there, and or there's going to be long lines or queues for those supplies. So thank you very much for listening to me this Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon, in some cases, wherever you may be. And I'll be sure to keep you informed more this week as we continue to progress and see what happens with this economy. In the meantime, God bless, and I'll talk to you very soon. Thank you.